Today that didn't happen. I was on 2 minutes early. You ready to get started? We should get going. Welcome everyone. I am Ron. This is Pure Strength. We are going to do today strength. This one's always easy to say what we're going to do. We're going to do strength because it's a strength class. Bring the knees up, arms, knees, everything forward. Pick it up, pick it up. We always start right here just to get the heart rate up a little bit to start out with. Finding your balance is the other piece of this. You got that alignment, everything's pointed out front. You also have to find that stationary foot flat on the floor so that you don't tip over when you lift one leg. That is not a good thing. You would not be able to get very far if every time you brought your foot up, you tipped over. And all right, step out to the side, bring the arms up overhead, roll the shoulder blades back. Deep breath in, exhale, coming back. Other side, out and up. Deep breath in, bring it back. So a little bit higher with each one, depending on what you've done today. If your shoulders are nice and loose, you can get them up over the top and bring them back down. If you haven't yet, start out 3/4 of the way and then bring it back. Other side, out and up. Starting out with a little slow motion here. We'll get up bigger once we get that heart rate up just a little bit and get those muscles warmed up, some flexibility into those joints, a little fluid flowing in there. Reverse step or lunge, however you want to call it. Step it back and up. Make sure on that front leg, the knee is staying over the ankle and up. Back foot on the ball of the foot and back up. Remember, the front leg is the one doing the work. You're pushing up through that heel as you bring that other leg up. So it's back and forth. So you notice here, get a little deeper with each one. You see what you can do on that. Bring it down and up. Keep the torso pretty much upright. Don't lean way forward when you do this. Bring it up, push through that front leg. We're trying to work that back chain and the quadriceps. Down and up. Stay back. Stay back. Bring the arm up and around. Rotate the shoulders and down, other side, step it back. I've really gotten into this one. I really like this stretch. Around, keep the back straight, rotate the spine, and then reach up with the shoulders. Remember, spine does one thing at a time. We're rotating it. One more time, back, up. So we don't want to throw a bend in there at the same time. Puts a lot of stress on the bones when you do that. Step back on the spine, on those vertebrae. Bring it around, roll that shoulder blade back. And 2 forward, small shoulder circles. Lower body moving with the upper body, keeping those hips warmed up, getting the knees, finding our balance, and then making the circles just a little bit bigger with each one, going to that point where you get as much range of motion without pain. So we're looking for no pain. That'd be the ultimate goal. Up, no injuries, no pain, and forward. Because if there's pain, there is no gain. Bring it up and around. There's just like 6 weeks you have to take off and wait for your body to heal. That doesn't do any good at all. Big circles, palms up on the way up, down on the way down, getting that rotation into the joint itself. And bring it down. Stepping out to the outside, arm up over the top. Roll that shoulder up and bring it back down. Other side, foot comes right out to the side, toes pointed forward. Keeping the spine in neutral as you reach past. Out, out, out. Bring it in, bring it down. Other side, up and over. Reach. Get a little more into it this time. So it's a hip hinge, but goes back on this side, on the lead side. And you're reaching through with that arm, feeling the stretch all the way from the tip of the finger down to the hip. Tip to hip. Other side. Reach out. Arms that are diagonal. Bring it back. Bring it in and down. Skaters, bringing that foot around and around. Remember, here's what we're looking for. That's not what we're looking for. No rotating the hips. Foot comes behind, taps, other side. So the stationary legs right out front. And feel the difference. Do one small rotation, skater, rolling the hips. And now pick that foot up and bring that leg around. Notice how much more tension those muscles have when you do it that way. That's why the body doesn't want to do it. It's a lot harder. Bring the arms across. It wants to take the easy way out, but that doesn't strengthen up the muscles. That doesn't give us that alignment through the body and back. We don't strengthen up the muscles in the joints. And remember, those muscles are strong to protect the joint, to protect the bones. Around and back one more time. And we're there. Hands up overhead, touchdown. Pull it down, palms in, squeeze it all together in the middle, and then push back up. So you're turning the hands over, bringing the arms down and up. Make sure the chin's not coming down to the chest as you're doing this. You want that looking right out front, tennis ball distance between the chin and the chest. Leg comes up as high as is comfortable for you. You may even just tap the toe and hold it there. And squeeze. You want to feel these muscles all the way front of the ribs, front of the hips, right down the middle. Doing the work. Plus the arms and shoulders, of course. And push back up. Again, arms down. We are doing elbow right here. Bring the leg up and across and back down. Again, what I want you to concentrate on, stationary leg. Foot is flat on the floor. Little bend in the knee so you don't stress that joint out. Elbow across and back. Has nothing to do with bending and turning at the same time. This is all about back stays straight and back down. You should feel these muscles working outside of the core, outside of the stomach. That midsection there, you know, hip to ribs. Up and across and back down. Lower abs, pulling that hip up. Squeeze, exhale. Always get that hard in there. That last breath out, you're really going to feel those muscles engage. And up. Other side. Up. And again, how high that foot comes up, totally up to you. If you can just get it around, that's the important piece. Without this front leg moving, it's around, getting that motion in the joint. And back out. Keep that foot flat on the floor. Don't let the knee roll out. Again, how high that leg comes up doesn't matter. It is in that contraction. Getting the air out of the lungs by tightening up the core muscles, pushing that diaphragm up out of the way. And one more time up, across, and back down. So you can do this. Deep breath in. Exhale without using the core. So there you're using just the muscles around the rib cage. Nothing. Now, make a fist in the stomach. It's a deep breath in, and then feel how much more air you get out of those lungs. Feel those muscles, really engage. Huge difference. That's what you're looking for. All right. Pivot. Back foot. Up on the ball of the foot. Rotate around and bring it back in. Up and out. As you do that, front leg, front hip stays forward. Bringing that arm across. Remember, that's a shoulder rotation. The whole shoulder girdle turns. So think about leading with that front shoulder. It's not about bringing that shoulder across the front. It's about rotating the shoulder girdle, getting that elbow back on the back as far as you can, and then back in again. Up, rotate within the hip. We're getting those hips flexible, getting some flexibility into them. Out. That's how we get them flexible, is by getting flexibility into them. Sorry. Out. I'll try to be better at this, I promise. And out. First day on the job. Reach. And reach. I'm going to take down in a squat. Hands on the thighs. Tell you what, arms up front. Do it this way. I love this for a cue. Keeping the shoulder blades back as you come down. Knees are over the ankles. Here's what we do when we come up. We roll the hips underneath and then push up through the heels. Arms are back, shoulders are back to keep that chest up so you're not looking down at the floor. You get that little curve in the lower part of the back the whole way up and down. Down, butt back, and up. Feel that in the quadriceps. Doing a lot of the work there. Tap the foot out to the side. So that's it. Stand that one side, out and back, slowing down just a little bit here, and bring it in, out, bring the toe up, and in nice and slow. Practicing that balance piece. Once we get a load on, once we get those weights in our hands, it's going to be a lot harder. I want to make sure that we have this motion now. The rehearsal moves, these are up and in, out. If it's possible for you, and this is not a problem, You can just bring it out to the side and come back in again, out and back in. Feel the muscles working on that opposite side through the outside of the hip, through the glutes. Other side. Out. Start with the tap and then bring the toe up. Get a feel for it, because first thing the body's going to want to do, or the brain's going to want to do, is still compensate based on the leg going out the other way. It has to learn that you've switched sides. Up and in, out and in. And then if that's okay for you, you can bring the foot up and bring it back. You may have a chair next to you to help you with this a little bit. That's perfectly okay. We're not working so much on balance as we are on those hip strength. And bring it back in. We're going to put the two together, going into a squat. Down as you come up, leg comes out, taps the toe, toe comes up, whatever one works for you. Here's what you don't want to do is lean out to the side. You don't want weight going in two different directions. You want to be right here over your base of support. Up, down, alternate sides, and up. Don't waddle on these. It's really easy to go, ooh, look at that. And look at that. We're going to do, look at that, look at that. Remember that? Ray Stevens' streak. Down. There's an oldie but goodie. Up and back down. Out. Tapping if you need to. Otherwise, foot up and bring it down. Stationary leg, doing all kinds of work here. You want to stay right above it. Knee has a little bend in it. Up and over. Back down. Last one. Up and bring it in. Last one's going to go into a hip hinge. Toes forward, a little wider than shoulder width apart. Shoulders back. Here's the key on this one. You really want to focus on shoulder blades being back. A little curve in the lower part of the back. Hands on the thighs to start out with. Knees stay over the ankles. So you're just pushing that butt right straight back. Feel the knees not move. As you come up, right straight up. Above the knees, the hip is coming forward. That's where all the action is. Push it back. Come on, let me show you where it's at. Up. Squeeze the glutes as you come to the top. Back down. Arms out front. Get a good stretch through the shoulders this time. All the way up the back. Pushing the butt out. Feet are flat on the floor. Knees over the ankles. Bring the arms up first. And then tighten up the legs so that those knees don't move. Back down. Butts right straight back. Bring the arms up overhead. One more time. Bring them down on the left side. Knee bends on that left side. Right leg stays straight. Butt right straight back. Shoulders square to the floor. So you don't want to roll out to the outside. Don't let that knee collapse. It is butt right straight back. You stay down. The only reason you're going to the side is because that leg getting shorter. And down. And push up. Inner thighs. Hamstrings, back of the thighs. Get in the stretch here. Down. Take your time with it. Don't bounce. You go down nice and slow. Once you feel those muscles start to stretch, hold for a count. Deep breath in. Exhale. Come down just a little bit more. You'll know when it's time to stop. And that's not that point where you go, ow, that hurt. Before that. You should do that before that. Bring it up. All right. You ready? Grab weights, but you should have water first. We have a total of 55 exercises to do. We will be here until we are done. Okay, I'll be here till I'm done. You, probably not. You have that right, 4 o'clock, you can go. Nah, we'll get it. We'll get it in time. Not all of those. First thing we're going to do, these are all strength exercises, one time through. Shoulder blades are back. We're going to go into a bent over row. So starting from a stagger step. Actually, but this being the last one, you kind of have a good idea. Here's what you can do. You can go into a skier stance, shoulder blades back, into that hip hinge, kind of a squat. Knees come forward just a little bit. You're going to bring the arms out here. What you have to prevent against is shoulders coming forward. If you go into a stagger, you're much more stable. You can get down deeper. This is the better way to do it to work the muscles we're trying to, the upper back, because you can lean down more, giving gravity a little more work. You have to fight it just a little bit more the deeper down you go. Front knee stays over the ankle the whole way through though. Narrow row, shoulder blades back, and out. We're starting now. We're starting now. Up. This is the real stuff. Those ones you did before that were warm-ups. Out and in. Just like in the warm-ups, knee stays over the ankle, back foot parallel with the front, out. Don't let the chin come down to the chest. This is the biggest cue you can have, is keeping the chin up. As soon as the chin comes down, you're going to feel a stretch through the back, and that's going to hurt all the way down to the lower back, plus it puts a lot of strain on the neck. Out and in. When you get to the back, it is this. Shoulder blades squeezed together and out. So it's not just bringing the elbows back, it's back, in. Feel those muscles working between the shoulder blades and back out. 5 seconds. Squeeze it and release. Back and down. Stagger step, other leg out. Same thing, except this time arms are still going to be out front. Weights parallel with the torso as you do this. So you don't want the weights down here, not way up here. You want to go down into the hip hinge. First part of this, knee stays over the ankle, butt goes back. Arms out. You're going to have a bend in the elbow. The more, so we're going to do a reverse fly. The more your shoulders hurt, get that elbow back. Make this a smaller rotation. Farther out you go, the more lever length there is, the more work that goes into those shoulders, puts a lot more strain on them. So if you have any problems with the shoulders at all, bend those elbows in and then just do the smaller movement right here. And back. We started 5 seconds ago. And forward. Keep that back straight. Keep those shoulder blades back. What you want is a straight line from the back of the head to the tailbone. And down. Up. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Feel those muscles working back there. Keep the weights parallel with the torso all the way through this. Up. Squeeze back and down. We have 15 seconds left. Feel those muscles working in the upper back, between the shoulder blades. Out. Bring it in. Hold back there. One crunch. That contraction at the end makes it twice as much effort and twice as much work for the effort that you're doing. And back down. That last contraction, you give a hard exhale, bringing the core into it, and then you snap those muscles into place and just keep them there for a second. And you'll feel them really tighten up, like you'll never feel just going back and forth. That's a good thing, by the way. All right, side lunge, weight shift. Feet out. Take a little break here. I'll just show you what we're going to do. Down, butt back. It's that side lunge we did. Pushing up, ball of the foot to the heel. Back half of the foot drives you right up and down on the other side. Butt goes right straight back, shoulders square to the floor. Push up. Right there to the middle. Squeeze the glutes. So you're going down on the side, push up through the heel, and squeeze it out right there. And then on the other side, same thing. 2 important things, shoulder blades stay back. 3 important things, shoulder blades stay back. Sounds like a Bad Monty Python show. A skit. Coming down. 2 things, don't turn the torso. Don't let the shoulders come down toward the floor. And up. You don't curl the shoulders down. Keep that chin up, chest out. Push through the flat of the foot to bring you up. You should feel it in the back of the thighs and the glutes. Engaging, squeezing to thrust that hip forward and back down. Weights don't go any lower than the knees, because what you really want is for that butt to go back farther. That's where you really drive the butt out once the hands get to the knees. So it's down. When you get there, see if you can push it out without the knee moving, and then up. So you don't want the knee to go back. You don't want it to go forward to get down there. All through the hamstrings. Squeeze, bring it up into place. One more time, each side. Out, down. Bring it up, last one. And back, up. Again. Next one. Arms up. Take just a second here. So I don't want to go too fast. A lot of intensity. These are single plane exercises. We're doing one direction at a time, one thing at a time. So I want to make sure that we've got that nice form using as much weight as you can. So to start out, it is just up over the shoulders and back down. Important things here, shoulder blades back. As you get the weights up, they're just a little bit in front of the head and back down, because here's what you really want to prevent against is leaning backwards if you have too much weight and starting to let your back hyperextend. That is really hard on that shoulder joint. What you want is that nice straight alignment all the way up. Little bend in the knees, elbows, shoulders, wrists, hips, ankles, all in alignment. We can start now. Up. You can join me now. It's okay. And down. Up. Keep the elbows in. You're going to feel the chest working. Inside of the arms, outside of the chest. Keep those elbows in. You're going to stretch out that upper back a little bit. You're going to strengthen up those muscles, those pec muscles, especially those pec minors on the outside of the chest underneath the arm. Up and back down. Again, a muscle group we miss. And we have to have balance. All muscles need to be strong together. They work together. Up. One more time. And down. Last one. Push it up. Hold it. Back down and back down. So remember, any move we do. Shoulders back, chest out, straight line from the back of the head to the tailbone in neutral. And the other thing is keep everything in alignment and don't lock out the joints. So when we did that overhead, you don't want to squeeze so hard that the joints overextends. You want to just have a little bit of a bend in there, letting the muscles do the work. Whew. Squats. Feet shoulder width apart, chest out. We're going to go down, knees over the laces of the shoes, but this is really about getting that butt back at the same time. Underneath, rolling the hips underneath, and then driving up through the heels. Feeling those muscles work. Front of the thighs. Back down. Chest out, roll and push. Up. We're 5 seconds in. Down. And up. But anytime you get too tired with these, just make the move smaller. Like for a squat, you can just go down a little bit and then roll and push up. Come up slow, tighten the muscles. So you don't have to go down so deep. Get down there. It's really hard to get up sometimes if you get too far down into it. Up. So take a smaller drop and then just consciously, slowly roll those hips forward, squeezing the muscles in the upper leg and drive through the heels to come up. Don't lock the knees out. Down, roll, and up. One more time. Take it down, push it back, and come on up. All right. All right. A couple more, then we take a break. Hands in front of the thighs. Shoulder blades back, chest out. Take it down, knees bend. Butt goes right straight back, knees don't go forward. So what you want to prevent against, and you can try this, just let the knees go forward and feel what happens to the torso. What's going to happen is the shoulders are going to come down at the same time. What you want is the knees to stay directly over the ankles, keeping the shoulder blades back, pushing the butt back. And again, once you get to the knees, the butt goes out a little farther, and now driving into the heels. Concentrate on those knees over the ankles, not going forward. Just the butt coming in to the top, squeeze the glutes. This is a great exercise for the back of the legs and the glute muscles. Down. Easy for me to say. Bring it up. Squeeze it out on top. Back down. Remember, you want to exhale on the way up. And tighten up. You do that, you're working the core every single exercise all the way through. You might hyperventilate too, so be careful of that. But you are working the core. Up, shoulder blades back, and down. So this is a Romanian deadlift. Stop. When you get to the knees, don't go any farther. And bring it up. And here's what I'm trying to prevent against. And I really want to cue for this because I see it so often. How low can I go? By stretching out the back. The back doesn't stretch that far. One more time. Down, butt back, and squeeze. Knees stay over the ankles. All right, so we're going to really, these were supersets. We're going to really focus on that back chain this time in the glutes and in the hamstrings. Stagger step, shoulders back. We're going to do a split squat. Heel stays up on that back foot. Knee stays over the ankle on the front. So you're not stressing it out. You're going to feel all kinds of pressure going down to the heel of that front foot. Perfect. That's what you want. We're going to roll that heel or that hip underneath, just like we did with the squat, It's up, and then start bringing the heel up. All your weight, your fulcrum is the ball of the foot, not the toes. Putting weight in the toes, again, is going to cause problems. They're not made to handle the weight of the body. Up, they're made for balance. They're that piece that sits out there waiting for you to start to fall and then adjusting constantly to keep you upright. Down, right straight down the middle. To get a little deeper, you may have to go a little farther out with that back leg, but all the work is done in the back side of that back leg. You'll also feel it in the hip flexor and the quadriceps on the front of the leg. 10 seconds on this side. Roll and lift, nice and slow. You don't have to go down that deep. It's about how slow you can come up and tighten those muscles up so you can feel it all the way up. Other side. Again, what I see a lot is this leaning forward, shoulder blades down. Try to stay upright, right between the legs. That's where all your support or all your stability, your support is. It's between the two legs. Up, first day, remember. Back down. Roll and up. Front leg, remember the knee is not going forward. Really prevent against that. If it is at all, bring that back leg back just a little bit, couple inches, and try it that way. Lift that heel as you come up. So heel goes down as you go down. Roll the hip underneath, lifting. So it's an arc where you bring that hip underneath and lift the foot at the same time. Try to do it as one smooth move. Up and back down. That works those fine motor muscles again, which increases your reaction time, improves it. Up and back down, makes the muscles work much smoother and much faster. And back down. Weights down. You should have a drink of water. You've earned it. So I have a little upper body, little lower body. What you may notice is that we're working same muscle groups 3 times in a row. Same muscle groups, but hitting them differently so that we get that entire muscle group coming into it from different angles so that we're not just pounding on the same thing over and over again. We want that whole muscle group to be balanced. It all needs to be strong. It needs that. All right, keep breaking, keep breaking. I'm going to show you the first set we're going to do of 3 is going to be biceps curls, elbows forward, bend in the knees, shoulder blades back, chest is out, up. Please, please concentrate on the weights staying parallel to the floor all the way through this. You're going to feel it on the inside of that arm underneath, coming up from the pinky finger, from the small finger, little finger, up by keeping it up. If you roll like this, you're taking the work out of the exercise. Bring it up. Let's get those muscles involved that otherwise don't get involved. So you bring it up, stop 3/4 of the way up. Coming down, not all the way, but 1/4 of the way up, you stop. Adjust the shoulders, make sure the weight is from the ball of the foot to the heel. We starting now. I'll show you the other 2 when we get there. Up and back down. Elbows away from the torso if you can. If you put them against the torso, you're giving yourself a little bit of a break in the front of the shoulders. But if you need it, take it. Just don't let the elbows go back on this one. I'd rather have you put the elbows, upper arm on the torso so you're still arcing up and back down. Don't let the wrist flop around either. It's really hard on the wrist. Up and back down. Nice and slow. Bring it up. Tighten. Really grip on that weight that you've got. And bring it down one more time. Up. Stop. And back down. So you can feel that upper arm right above the elbow, going up into the shoulder, right through the front of the shoulder. Next one is the hammer grip. Hammer curl, up and back down. So what I did there, I was showing you what not to do. No, I just did it wrong. When you come up, don't let the wrist flop here. You want to keep that wrist straight, down and up. Elbows if you can, inches from the body, right next to the side though, wherever they are. You ready? So whether you're up against the torso or out to the side, just don't let the elbows go back. You want that full arc. The real work is done when the elbow's at 90 degrees and that weight is farthest from the body. Out. Keep the shoulder blades back, chest out, wrist straight, fist pointed right toward the floor, right out in front of you the whole way. It's so much harder. It is so much better. This exercise accomplishes so much more when you keep that wrist straight and the knuckles pointed right straight out in front of you. Up. Only thing moving are those elbows. Nothing else. One more time. Up. Hold. And back. Down. We did up. We did in. We're going to do down. Again, keep the hands, the weights parallel to the floor. Shoulder blades are back, chest is out. Elbows stay right next to the torso. In and back down. What we like to do is elbows out and lift that way. We're using the tops of the shoulders instead, or the shoulders. We want to use biceps on this. So it's up, weights parallel with the floor, and back down. If your wrists can't do that, get rid of one weight, grab onto the sides. Sorry, grab onto the top of the weight. Great for grip strength. And come up and back down. Just keep the elbows into the body. All right. We started up and back down. Form is the same. Shoulder blades are back. Chest out. Knees bent. Foot has full contact with the floor. Only thing moving is the elbows up and back down. That means every other muscle in your body is working to hold you in alignment, to hold you straight, to keep you from moving, especially the core. Up, because every exercise is a core exercise. Up, exhale, tighten that core, and back down, and down. Last one, up, hold, and back, down. We worked our way all around the front of that shoulder, or the front of that upper arm, getting those biceps all the way side to side. Weights on the side. We're just going to, easy one. Up, heels up, hold, and back down. Most common mistake on this one is letting the knees lock out to the back. Keep a little bend in the knees, coming up. The next thing is you need to stand the balls of the heels. Don't go into the toes when you do this. There shouldn't be a lot of weight in the toes. Most of it is in the ball of the foot. Make sure you can feel the floor all the way across on the ball of the foot. Great toe to little toe. Up and back down. So what you're trying to prevent against are the knees going out. You're taking those feet and rolling them out onto the little toe. It's causing all sorts of problems for your alignment. Up. We want to strengthen the muscles up to be in alignment. 5 seconds in. You can join me now. And down. Up. Hold at the top. Come down nice and slow. Wherever the top is for you. So you're coming up just part of the way. Perfect. Most important thing is focusing on the ball of the foot staying flat. Working that muscle in the back of the lower leg, those calf muscles, to lift the heel up and back down. Up and down. Remember, toes are for balance. Push the weight down into the ball of the foot. And then when you start to fall forward toward your nose, that's where you can push up through the toes to get you back up again. One more time. Up, hold, and back, down. We're going to do those again. Same muscle group, a little different this time. Waist between the legs, toes out. We're going to go with the butt back into a plie squat. Knees stay over the ankles, knees stay out to the outside. Don't let them collapse as you come down. Knees come in, not having the strength to hold the knees out. If you come down and those knees are just going to come in because those muscles are too tight in the inner thighs, walk the legs in just a little bit so you can keep the knees over the ankles and up. There's more to it than that. We're going to go down in that lift and back down. We're going to go into a pulse right here and down. Underneath, lift the heels. If that doesn't work, one heel at a time, alternating, up and up. Actually, this is the better way to do it for you if you're having any balance issues at all, because you can get that heel up a lot higher, feeling those calf muscles work to lift that heel up. But if you have no problem with balance, you can come up with both heels up and back down. But if you're fighting with a balance issue at all, one at a time and up. Up. Squeeze it. Quadriceps should be feeling this as well. Outer thighs are keeping those knees out, so you're going to feel it there as well. Up. Ball the foot all the way in. Great toe to little toe. One more time. Up, actually, one more time after this. So you can go left, right, roll the hips. Come on up. All right, what do we got next? One more set of 3. Shoulder blades are back into a stagger step, foot back, coming down, hip hinging over that front leg. Again, knee over the ankle. Back foot's flat, little bend in the knee. We're going to work on just the triceps only. So elbows back, out, squeeze it, and back in again. Don't lock the elbow on the way back. It's easy to do. It's painful too if you do anything, if you stress that or strain those muscles in the joint. So it's up, hold back there. Hopefully you're using light enough weights that you're able to keep the shoulder blades together. Elbows mostly extended. Feeling those muscles work in the back of the upper arms, plus the upper back and the top of the shoulders. Up, squeeze, and back down. Again, keep that wrist steady. Don't let the weights come in. That's where we start using momentum to go up and down. Keep the wrist straight, knuckles away from you, and down, up, squeeze, and back down. Keep that back straight. Farther down you go, more you're going to feel it. 10 seconds. Back and up. 1. Last one. Out, squeeze, and back in. One more exercise standing up. Put a weight down, single weight. We are going up over the head. So where you go with this, elbows are going to stay in. That's the key on this one. If you go to the outside, you're starting to use the trapezoids and the upper shoulders to do the work here instead of the triceps in the back of the upper arms. So we're going to come up over the top, wherever that is for you and your shoulders. As long as you can clear the head, you're good. The key, though, is to keep the elbows in right next to the head, tightening up these muscles in the back of the upper arm to raise the lower arm and bring it back down. That's it. Elbows in, shoulder blades back, chest is out and up. So we like to get way up there, but you know what? That's hard on the shoulders. It's really hard on the shoulders, especially when you're coming up with that weight and you're back here. It's kind of drawing those shoulder blades back or those shoulders back. You don't want that. So bring the elbows down, but keep them in. Remember, alignment, wrists, elbows, shoulders, hips, knees, toes. Up, feeling this in the back of the upper arm. Down 2 more times. Squeeze it, bring it up. Feel this in the forearms, grip strength as you hold on to that weight. Last one, up, hold, and back down. You can set the weights down. We're going to go to the floor. Weights on the floor, you will need them. We're going to keep you working with weights because it's a pure strength class. If I were to throw some other stuff in, it wouldn't be pure anymore. We got to keep it pure. Which is hard to do. Puts me under a lot of peer pressure. That was good. That's a dad joke. That's one I'm sending in. All right, back on the floor. First thing we're going to do, I mean, your back is on the floor. We're not back on the floor. Your back's on the floor. Squeeze those lower abs, roll the hip forward, stabilize the lower back. And with the back on the floor, hold it right there. Extend out the right leg, extend out the left leg, and don't let that lower back come up off the floor. Squeeze the core. Bring the shoulders up just a little bit. And back down again. You're looking for that exhale to do the work. When you tighten up all those muscles in there, that muscle that runs from the ribs to the hips shortens up. Bringing the shoulders up, or the chest cavity actually is what it's bringing up. It's up to you to hold everything else straight with it. And back down. Again, if you need to, hands over the shoulders. Just what I do. Up and back down. You may want to put them on your chest. If you have any problems with this, drop them out to the side. That'll help keep the shoulder blades back and chest out. It'll stop you from bringing the chin to the chest. And that is something on these you've got to be so careful of, is don't let the chin come to the chest and roll up through the neck. It is chin, chest, tennis ball between, up, and back down. And now knees bent, knees up toward the ceiling, feet on the floor, one at a time, going into a tuck. Squeeze it, lengthen out the back, feel the stretch of the lower back. That feels so good. Other side up. And back down. Two things, most important things on this one. When that foot is in the air, don't let your lower back move. If you feel any weight shift in the hips at all, get the arms out to the sides. You want to protect that lower back from twisting. That's where you're going to get hurt. And down. The other thing is, as that foot drops, you want to keep that lower back on the floor all the way down. Take your time bringing it down. Up. So what you don't want is that lower back come way up off the floor, and then you throw a twist in it at the same time. Oh no, oh no. That doesn't work. Up. Squeeze those lower abs. Roll that hip up just a little bit. And back down one more time. Up. And back down. If you're able, the next step of this is both legs up. Knees bent, heels in toward the butt. Bring the heels up. Squeeze. Feel that lower back come off the floor, or that tailbone come up off the floor. Don't do this if you have any problems keeping that lower back on the floor or the torso from twisting. Go back to single leg and squeeze. Going into that march instead. And big key on this one, when you bring up both legs, lower back has to stay on the floor as you drop those legs down nice and slow. And down. Completely protecting the back, and you are adding like to a degree of 10 how much more intense this exercise is. With that slow drop, again, we have an hour. We want to get as much in as we can, taking advantage of every second by getting as much out of every movement as we can get. And down. So the reason we did that is to keep the lower back on the floor. Grab your weights. So we keep the knees up with the feet on the floor. Those are brace legs to keep us from twisting from side to side. It's also easier to keep the lower back on the floor when you've got the knees bent like that. If you can, extend one out. This first modification is extending one leg out, the other knee up toward the ceiling, using that single brace leg, but you feel that lower back come up off the floor just a little bit more. Squeeze the lower abs, getting that lower back on the floor. Hold the weights up here. And then release. What you want to prevent against is pushing through the heel and squeezing the glutes to bring that butt forward. You want to use these lower abs, shorten them up to roll that hip forward, and then release back down again. That's no problem. Both legs extended. You always want lower back to be on the floor through the movement, feeling no movement from side to side, no shifting whatsoever. Flat on the floor, weight evenly distributed, all the way through your movement. So the first one we're going to do is a chest press. Weights down on the side, elbows straight out. Stop at that point where you're starting to feel too much pressure in the front of the shoulders because you've got a lot of stretch going on here. Weights are always right over the shoulder, right over the elbows, all the way up to the top, and then you got the elbow, the wrist, and the shoulder all in alignment. But on the way back down, arms stay out into those goalposts, weights mid-torso. How high up you go or how high down or how low down you go, it's up to you completely. Your body will tell you where that point is, and you will listen to that too. Up and back down. So the last part of this to really get the most out of it, lower back on the floor, arms up. When you get the elbow, shoulder, and wrist all in alignment, squeeze the chest and feel the muscles work on the outside of the chest, those pec minors, to give you just another couple inches, if even that. And then back down again. You're going to feel this right underneath the armpit or right in front of it on the chest. And back down, weights mid-torso. Again, it adds just a little bit more intensity to the exercise when you've got the weights down just a little bit there. And bring it back down one more time. Up. And back down. Arms down. So what we're supposed to do is a skull crusher first. Getting back to those triceps that we did from standing. We did 2 exercises for the triceps. We're going to do the third. So you want the elbow and shoulder to be in alignment. What you don't want is elbows out to the side. You want them to be just stacked in and right over the shoulders. The work happens here by bringing the arms up. They're not going to come all the way up. They're going to come about 3/4 of the way. Stop there, and then nice and slow, let them drop back down again. It's an arc. You get as far away from the elbow as possible, and then you start to come back in a little bit. Full stop. Check the elbows. Make sure they're pointed toward the ceiling, right up over the shoulders, and then arc the weight back up again. Square off at the top, wherever you can get to, however high that is. You may only come down a little bit. That's fine. And come back up. This may be a very small move, as long as the elbows stay in. That's the key on this one. When that muscle tightens in the back of the upper arm, it shortens, bringing that lower arm, the forearm, up and back down. You want to keep tension on those muscles as long as possible, because time under tension equals strength. Down and up. 2 more. Should be feeling this in the back of the arms. Again, don't let the wrists move. Stay right where they are. Down and up. Bring that down. Shake that out. We're going to go back to the arms. We're going to give them a break for a second. Bring the knees up. Going back to the core. We're going to work the obliques this time. Up. Rotate the shoulders. Turn, turn, turn. Reach down. So don't bring the chin to the chest. You should not be able to see your knee. You should be able to see the ceiling. And back down. That spine stays straight. So as you come up and rotate, you're looking eyes up, and then they start to come down just a little bit. Eyes come down, neck doesn't, chin doesn't move. And then it's back up again. So the spine stays straight, rotation, pull the shoulder blades down, using those muscles on the outside of the upper back, pulling down toward the hips, and then back again. Lower back doesn't turn. We want all the motion, all of the rotation to happen through the upper back, to the middle of the spine, and the shoulders rotate. And back, up, around, exhale, as much as you can get out. Again, using those core muscles, not just breathing with the muscles around the ribs, driving that diaphragm up into the lungs. And back down. That last piece, when you get that air out, when you get that final push of the air out, you're going to feel your body move just a little bit more. That's that last tension piece you're looking for. All right, weights, 1 or 2. 1 lump or 2. We're going to do a pullover down. I've got my feet on the floor, making sure that I've got that lower back stabilized. Right here, when you've got the weights away from the head toward the floor, don't let them touch. Roll the shoulder blades down and then squeeze the shoulder blades down toward the hips. You're going to feel the chest engage, core is engaged to keep that lower back on the floor. So try it with the palms facing in, and then try it with the palms facing toward the feet with an overhand grip. Again, wrists don't move on this. Little bend in the elbows. I feel much more of a stretch. And tighten up the core. Exhale as you bring it up. Shoulder blades down. I feel a better stretch, making sure that the weights are always parallel with the floor. Knuckles pointing away. Shoulder blades down. Squeeze the core. Chest gets involved. Up over the top. Everything above the hips, right up to the neck, is being used on this one. Arms, forearms for grip strength. Up, chest, upper back, lats on the outside of the upper back. And back down. Again, if that's too much for you, bring the palms in. Still tense up those muscles. Try if you can, though, to do a few with the weights out parallel to the floor. Again, when working a part of the body we don't normally work, holding that wrist out or those little fingers out on the outsides, getting that rotation involved. That was it. I got kind of carried away there. What we got left? Oh, single weight. So just one thing I didn't mention is that on that last one, I keep the feet up in that neutral position or in that crooked position, because when I put the weight way up overhead, if I have too much weight out there, that's going to pull that lower back up off the floor. It's just, I don't have the strength to hold it down there. With braced legs, it makes it much easier. That back doesn't come up as high so that I can focus on just the pullover only. That's all I want to think about. All right, next one we're going to do. Weight right up over the chest. Again, a little bend in the elbow. Don't lock it out. You can use two weights if you want here, however you want to do it. We're going to do a crunch. So it's deep breath in, exhale using the core. Top. Hold all the air out of the lungs. And then back down nice and slow. So for this one, you don't have the weight way over the top of the head toward the floor. You don't have that long extension. So you can probably get the legs extended on this one. Roll the hip as you exhale. Bring the shoulders up off the floor a little bit. Again, all you want to feel are those muscles, upper to lower abs. You want to feel that one muscle that runs from the rib cage to the hips, all of it. Nice and tight. And then back down. Weight gives you just a little more resistance. But you've got to make sure on this that you're not bringing the chin to the chest and curling, using the weight for momentum. Puts all sorts of stress on the back. You're going right straight up towards the ceiling, using the muscles, getting shorter in the core to lift the rib cage up. And back down one more time. Hold it. And back down. You can set those weights down. We're going to go ahead and sit up. Coming to the end of the fall session. If you have not signed up for Fit for the Holidays, do not forget. Shoulder blades back. You get all the classes, all of them, as many as you want to take every day. All online. They're all Zoom classes. $30, I believe it is, for all the classes. Shoulders back. Going right up to the winter session that starts in January. If you haven't signed up for that yet, please do. Shoulder blades back, chest is out. We're going to make that rotation. Back shoulder does the work. Shoulder blades stay back. Spine stays in neutral as you rotate. So again, you bend and turn at the same time. If you have osteoporosis at all, that's going to put all sorts of strain on that back. You want to be really careful of that. And make sure you don't do it, actually. Making sure that you've got that spine in neutral and it's doing one thing, it's rotating. Deep breath in, shoulder blades back one more time. Get a little bit more into it. Coming back to center. Let's go ahead and stand up. Getting your mat out of the way. Getting your weights out of the way. Cleaning up your place. My wife wishes I would do this all the time. Clean up after myself. All right. All right. Shake it out. Arm across the front. Hand, back of the hand. Back of the hand. Roll the shoulder girdle. Straight line all the way around. Stretching out the shoulder on the back side. Stretching out the chest on the front side. And around. I don't know which is front and back on this one. Just make sure you're not turning the torso. Just don't do that. Other side, same thing. Shoulders stay in a straight line. Hands down a little bit, keeping some of the stress off that shoulder. Shoulder socket. And back, palm up, over the back, right straight down. Don't let the hand go across. Don't let the elbow flare out. There's no stretch in that. Elbow comes in, hand comes right straight down, and then tap as far as you can get. You may not be able to get that elbow right up next to the ear. It's okay. It's most important that you just keep it straight so you can stretch these hamstrings. Stretch those triceps. And back down. It's the upper half of a limb. If it were the legs, it would be the hamstring. Back. Reach. Get back there. Roll the shoulder blades back with it too. A little more stretch using all the muscles in the body to give you a little assist. And bring it back down again. Shake that out. Small circles. Up on the way up, down on the way down. And going back the other way. Take your time with this. Don't have to go big. Feel the stretch. All you're looking for is just a nice, easy stretch to cool the muscles down. As you get finished up here, we contracted all these muscles hard. We want to get them stretched out, cooled down. Shake that out. Feet apart. Side lunge. Push the butt back. Feel the stretch through the hamstrings. Back of the thigh. Back there into the glutes. All those squats we did, use those muscles. Want to get them stretched out. Any of the hip hinges, work those really hard. Split squats. One more time down on each side. Inner thigh as you push that butt back. Make sure you're keeping the shoulders straight as you do this. So the last 2 minutes of class. Do not get hurt now. That would be awful. First 2 minutes, last 2 minutes. Be terrible. All right. Arms forward. Wrap the chest. Shoulders forward. Stretch out the upper back. Deep breath in. Walk the fingers back as far as you can get them. Exhale, bringing the arms out to the sides. Opening up the chest. Deep breath in. Roll the shoulder blades down. Push the stomach out. Exhale. Coming forward one more time. Opposite arm on top this time, if you can remember which one was on top the previous one. Deep breath in. Shoulders rolled forward and arms out again. Deep breath in. One time. Up overhead. In through the nose. Stomach out, exhale as you bring the arms down. Thank you so much for being here for this fall session. I appreciate it. I hope to see you again in the spring. And for Fit for the Holidays, I have new costumes, new decorations, new costumes. It's going to be killer. Killer exciting. Thank you guys. You bet. Thank you.